back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. As always, we start with our headline news, and it's a bit of breaking news, a bit of a saga that went and unfolded. So breaking news as of about 3 hours ago of recording, so about 1 o'clock, we had breaking news from Mike McGrath that Newcastle had been in contact with Everton to offer £35 million for Anthony Gordon. Like I said, came from Mike McGrath of The Telegraph. Following on from that, Craig Hope of the Daily Mail said that Everton and Newcastle had been in conversation over Gordon, but there's almost an acceptance that it's unlikely to happen during this summer. And then finally, David Ornstein, who's having an absolutely fantastic transfer window season, it seems, beating Fabrizio for a lot of stuff, put his seal on it, going, Everton have no intention of selling Anthony Gordon, despite inquiries from the other Premier League clubs. Everton are unwilling to consider Gordon leaving. It's likely he'll be offered a new contract, but not as a result of rival admiration. We did put a poll out saying, would you sell Anthony Gordon for 35 million? 2,670 of you voted, 18.1% yes. Myself and 81.9% said nope. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get a new contract as well, which is good to see. I think that's more well done. You've done well. And this puts a couple more years on you, put rivals off a little bit more. All round, not a surprise. Really, that he's getting a new contract also gives him the chance to, really highlight. Because we talk a lot about players going, players staying, what they want. When you're offered a contract in the midst of teams looking around you, that really is where, your head is above the parapet. If you sign it, it shows a lot that you want to stay with the team. If you don't, then it's pretty obvious to fans where your head's at. I think he probably will sign it. I think he'll be happy with that. I think he wants to stay. I have no doubt about that. And also, this is like, don't get me wrong, Newcastle, it's a bit more money than Tottenham are offering, but Newcastle have got the money to absolutely do that. But again, if it was Tottenham and he said his head was turned, I'd understand. They've got European football. They've just got Richarlison and a couple of other, they're making a couple of other good signings. They've got Antonio Conte as their manager. I could see that. Newcastle, no, I know they've got a lot of money and that would be the only one, but I said it with Dom the other day, unless it's with Calvert-Lewin, unless it's not about the money. If it's about the money, you go Newcastle, but if it's not, I don't see them in a blight that we historically, I think, overall are a bigger club, but we have finished around about their level, which would make it very tough for me to say that we're above them. But I'd say we're on par. They've obviously got money to spend and no regulation in around it. We've got regulations stopping us spending, and I don't think we've got the sources to spend. So they potentially, if they spend it well, will absolutely leapfrog us in terms of instant results, climbing up the table. Or they could do what we do and absolutely scattergun it up a wall and see what sticks. You just never know. It's a very, very tricky time how to spend your money wisely. But yeah, I just don't see why he'd go to Newcastle. I think he'll probably stay. I don't see them getting European football next year. I think they should be happy realistically with a finish between 12th and the bottom. Maybe like the top half, like 12th and 7th, 12th and 15th, they should be happy with. I think that's realistic for that, and I think they'll finish between 12th and bottom, anywhere in that side of the table, in the lower half, basically. Moving on, though, we have got that Everton are after Morgan Gibbs-White, and they're hoping to use Kevin Thelwell's influence to get him. Obviously, Morgan Gibbs-White is a sought-after player. Steve Cooper of Nottingham Forest wants him. The Athletic said that Wolves are looking for 30 million for the 22-year-old, and the Blues are hoping Thelwell will have Thelwell's influence will bring him to it. Gibbs-White is also wanted by Crystal Palace. According to 90 Mins, Crystal Palace lead the race to sign the Wolves midfielder. Vieira is on the hunt to find a replacement for Conor Gallagher, and it looks like he wants Morgan Gibbs-White, which is, interesting in itself. I don't know if he's worth 30 million, in all honesty. I don't know. He's had a good season in the Championship, but I don't know. Also, 30 million is a lot of money. This squad that we have really needs bolstering. It's on its bare bones. It's on its backside, really. And I don't know if we've got 30 million to be spending on one player in one position. And you hear a lot of rumours. I know it's all press talk, hence why I say who the journalist is and what paper we've got it from when we announce that, and also to avoid us, plagiarising. Yeah, we talk about the journalists on here and what they're saying, and it is paper talk, but there is some truth and substance behind a fair bit of some of the stuff. And we're hearing rumours that Everton are looking to have a structure for the Dennis transfer, which is rumoured to be 20 million, and structure that down. If this is a club that see him as Richarlison's replacement, who they've just sold for 50, 60 million, and they're trying to structure it down from 20 to something else, do you really think we have the money to be spending 30 million on one position? I think we're going to see a very stringent Everton, a very budget Everton of old, where Bill Kenwright will be getting out his tricks on how to get players for cheap, and really pushing that to the limit. I think we'll see a couple more like the Dele Alli deal, where it's add-ons and stuff like that, based on performance basis from what the papers are saying. But I don't think we've got 30 million to be spending on one position. He is a needed position, but there are more important ones. I think we need a solid defensive midfielder to sit in front of the four, more than we need Gibbs White. But we do need a creative midfielder as well. I'm not saying we don't need him at all. We do need someone of that quality. But I think we should try and look for maybe a little bit cheaper than 30 million. Next, we have that Ellis Sims is wanted by Hearts. Obviously spent the season on loan there. Hearts want him back, but according to the Edinburgh Evening News, they're unlikely to be able to meet the fee of around 500,000 for the 21-year-old. His wage demands would also be a different story. Another loan deal could still be an option, but the chances of that coming to fruition are unlikely to materialise till the end of the window. Basically, we're going to hold out and see if we can sell him permanently, and then if not, send him back to Hearts. Weird one, Sims, isn't it? Really great goal scoring record at the under-21s. I know a couple of people have said to me that Dobbin, and I've seen on Twitter that Dobbin was the overall better striker, but Sims' goal scoring record was scary. Now we're on about giving him away. He was a highly rated sort of player. A lot of fans wanted to see him do well. It's interesting, isn't it? It shows the gap maybe between under-21s and the Premier League. And it shows why this restructuring that's going on at the club currently at academy level is needed. Once again, another player that we thought would break into the team is going to be found at the wayside. And another highly rated player at the time. It's quite sad to see. It's quite a shame. So hopefully we get that sorted. We can move on and have an academy where we see a lot more of the Gordons of the world, coming through. And we also have the news that Everton's hopes of signing Jesse Lingard on free may have hit a stumbling block. It emerged that he's on his way to the US to talk to potential suitors. Lingard left United after 22 years at his boyhood club. His contract expired. Everton were in the hunt, but ESPN have said that the English international's travelling to the USA to listen to pitches. The report claims that Lingard will meet two Major League Soccer clubs who will both put groundbreaking deals to the 29-year-old and his representatives. The player's primary objective would be to secure necessary game time to force his way into Gareth Southgate's England squad ahead of the World Cup in Qatar. West Ham are also rumoured to be interested in him. I don't know if I'll be brutally honest, I'm not going to be upset if he doesn't come to us. I'm not going to be upset. Apparently his wage demands are quite high. We just don't have that type of, to be offering 29-year-olds silly contracts is something that's got us in this mess. The free transfer is obviously appealing, but is he not what we hope Dele Alli will kick on to be? Is he not more of that type of player, a dynamic attacking midfielder, which is what I'd say Dele Alli is, play off the striker type-esque. I think we've got our player like that. And the MLS will, so depending on who the clubs are, will offer him silly money. I will say this, if I was him, I would probably go West Ham or us, just because if you want to get into Gareth Southgate's team, I don't think the MLS is the type of league you go to impress a manager. I think you need to stay in one of the top 5 competitive leagues in Europe, which, the MLS isn't up to the standard of what I imagine Gareth Southgate will be looking for. He's not going to pick Lingard for scoring 10 goals in the MLS when Mason Mount may have only scored 8 and got 3 assists, but it's in the Premier League, for instance. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. Apologies if that offends, MLS fans. But in my opinion, it's a hell of a lot harder to cut it in the Premier League than it is the MLS. And if I was a football manager, I'd be looking at who performs well in England's top league, one of the best leagues in the world, than the MLS. But that is all we've got time for today. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Comment down below your thoughts on Lingard, your thoughts on Ellis Sims. It's a shame to see another young player go. Your thoughts on Anthony Gordon, if you'd sell him for that price. Also, like to mention, there is a link down there to the Toffee Blues shop for you to get your merch. There's Iwobi t-shirts like the Star Wars theme for Iwobi-Wan Kenobi. There's some Everton tops in there as well that are quite jazzy. All that good stuff. And if you're after the Everton football kit, you can get that as well. The link will be in the description to the official store. So go check out all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys very soon.